Wrestling fans, welcome to the October edition of MWF Cyberstars. I am Dan Marotti, pleased to be joined by the one, the only, one of the true legendary managers of this great sport, now the father of the Millennium Wrestling Federation in certain ways, the president himself, President Bearer. It is a pleasure to have you here in this studio again with kind of an eerie setting. Do you bring the lights with you?
Why are you being so nice to me?
Because it's a pleasure.
The world knows you hate me. So don't pretend like you like me, because you don't.
Even at our worst, I have always said I've respected everything you've accomplished in this great sport. And I have to say, since March, when everything went down at Soul Survivor 8, we've had at least a respectful working relationship, have we not?
When his lips are moving, he's lying.
You're the one that gave me the promotion.
This is what we like to talk about.
Well, what about the Big Bang Birthday Bash? There was a lot that went down for our 11th anniversary, Saturday, September the 22nd, the historic Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. From A to Z, what a day. 2 live events, a fan fest, all the charities that were involved during that day, the auctions, the raffles. It was just, it was like a wrestling fan's dream come true. We really do give them.
And the number of fans that were in the building, that just blew me away. When I first arrived, the fans were lined up from the door all the way around the building, waiting to get in. And I'm sure when they left, they certainly got their money's worth. They got the Big Bang money worth, that's for sure.
One thing we've always tried to do is give fans the best value in professional wrestling. It's not just a slogan. I mean, if you looked at the VIP package that we offered, you're talking about, it was face value item per item, about $250 worth of stuff for, if you ordered it back when we did the pre-sale in April when we were in Vegas, it was only $40. That's a hell of a deal.
And the athletes and the performers that were on the card were just the cream of the crop, without a doubt. We had the general manager from Raw, Teddy Long, was there. Ron Simmons was there. And it was just Boogeyman. And amongst all the others, it was just a fantastic evening. I can't think of a better time that I've ever had there, unless I ever had an opportunity to knock you in the head with a chair.
Well, I think the one positive thing you can take out of our Memorial Hall experience is that it seems like show per show per show, the numbers continue to climb and climb and climb and climb, so that at least says
that
fans are enjoying themselves.
That we're giving them a product that they are enjoying, that they're wanting to tell their neighbors about, and they want to bring their friends and bring grandma out of the kitchen and all the kids out of the yard and come on down and see MWF Professional Wrestling.
And I think one thing that sometimes may be understated here in what we do in the MWF, but the amount of charity work that goes on here, whether it be the things we've done on a few pay-per-view Sundays online, what we do at our live events. We raised several $100s at the Big Bang Birthday Bash. And we're involving such a wide spectrum of nonprofits. You know about Make-A-Wish, which you've done a lot of work on throughout the years, long before you ever came to the MWF. Special Olympics, we've been named Special Olympic Partners 2011 and this year. Big Brothers, which is something that stands out to me to try and help kids, could use a positive role model in their life, and they get a chance to go with their, I believe they're called matches, to come out to our wrestling events. Then you have on the wrestling end of things, the Cauliflower Alley Club, which does a lot to try and help the veterans of this great sport that sometimes need a helping hand, whether it be health expenses, sometimes afterlife expenses in a lot of sad cases. Even our good friend John Layfield's Beyond Rugby Bermuda, we've been able to do some good for us. So that's one thing that I don't think a lot of people really think of in regards to pro wrestling. I know WWE has certainly done a tremendous job with their Make-A-Wish initiatives, the new Be a Star that they've started to push about anti-bullying. But I like what we've been able to do here in the MWF in a more regionalized way.
And that's what it's all about. It's about giving back. You know, the fans have been behind the MWF and wrestling as a whole for many, many years. And it's time to give back, not just the product in the ring, but giving the opportunity of the fans to walk up and shake our hands and give us a hug and get to know their names, get to know a little bit about them, and having a personal relationship with the fans that come out to see us. It's the wrestlers really appreciate that more than you would ever know. We really do. Just as much as the fans do. I have just as much fun sitting there talking to the fans and, and carrying on in the style that I do than the fans do coming themselves. It's good. It's all good.
And, the fans might not even believe it, but as time goes on, you really do start to recognize them. I know sometimes when we do the work on the computer, you start to recognize the same names over and over again, some of our tremendous MWF superfans. Then at the live events, you might not be able to put the name and the face together exactly, but you really do start to recognize these people as time goes on, and they're almost like an extended part of the MWF family, and that's a sincere thought.
Absolutely, and like I said, I've learned a lot to know a lot of the local NWF fans, and they're always bringing new people with them, bringing new friends with them, and it just more people come, and just to put your arms around them and get a picture and shake their hands, and later on you see them out in the audience as the show goes on. It's a very, very special feeling that a lot of people don't get to experience. It's a very heartwarming feeling that I really love. I really love it, and I love that the world famous John Senior is not around anymore. That he's finally been exposed.
Yes. Oh, well, we'll talk about that. But another thing that I thought was tremendous was the email that we received from the mayor of Melrose, Rob Dolan, talking about the great partnership that we formed here in Melrose with Memorial Hall for it taking so long for us to be able to get into the venue, the tremendous things we've been able to do in the community. And I think that's one thing, at least at maybe not Memorial Hall, but City Hall, they appreciate an awful lot, because it's a great thing for the kids to have an outlet to be able to do something on a Saturday night, as opposed to, I know I had to run home in the middle of the event we had on September the 22nd, and I came home and there were kids running around causing mayhem down by Papagino's and whatnot. And it's just because they have nothing else to do. And I mean, that's not just here in Melrose. That could be said for, anywhere in the country in a lot of ways.
It's a good thing that the local police know the car that you ride in, the license tag, so they don't pull you over and give you as many tickets as they used to either, do they?
Well, I was with your friend CT, so.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk about some of the news coming out of the big event. And the October MWF Cyberstars is white hot. And you are dressed perfectly for the fall with your orange colors on right here. But another expose, perhaps. MWF Board of Directors meeting the day after the big event. Commissioner Von Johnson indefinitely suspended due to supposed shenanigans down south with his buddy, his John Cena Sr.'s lapdog, as I used to call him, the commish. I don't know if you have any scoops that you can reveal right now, but the commish is indefinitely suspended from the MWF for the time being.
That's really a downer, is even talking about the commish, Johnson. I mean, you can smell him a mile away. He could at least take a bath or change clothes or do something. There's no sense in being filthy like that. And he's filthy. And I don't like filthy people around me. So he needed to be suspended a long time ago. And John Sr. might not smell as bad, but he's a rat too. He should have been gone a long time ago too.
Well, if nothing else, it appears that Von Johnson was a rat that was not doing nothing more but feeding Cena information for MWF South.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think that's, I mean,
absolutely.
Will you publicly put anything on the record here? Or?
And I was, the manager for the gentleman from down there, the Indian gentleman from down there. I hate to even mention his name. You can say if you want to.
Well, it is something that is worth talking about, President.
Yeah, he had to walk forward.
You have to go all the way back to Soul Survivor 3. You made your return to the MWF after your absence when you were back in WWE with The Undertaker. It was great to have you back, and the night of the big event, you helped Dylan Kage retain the MWF Championship in a match with Luis Ortiz, and you two have been, frickin' crack ever since.
Now I regret it. After that's all come out. The commish, John Sr., and Dylan Kage, it seemed like they were all in bed together after all the investigations have been done.
Hopefully, literally, not physically, but...
Why would you have to say something like that? What do you think this is, Days of Our Lives or something? There's children watching this.
Well, it's Massachusetts. It's very
Yeah.
liberal, but nonetheless.
Yeah, I'm investigating you too, so watch it.
But you and Kage had so many outstanding memories here in the MWF over the years. I mean, he's the longest reigning champion in MWF history. He held it nearly 4 years before he lost it to Todd Hansen. You two created, in reality, two different factions of the trifecta. There was the original trifecta back in 2005, and then in 2011 it was the trifecta of terror when you included Rick Fuller and Executioner Brian Malone as the tag team champions. I mean, honestly, look at it. Go back to the first MWF South event down in North Carolina. You led him to the MWF South Heavyweight Championship. I mean, it was nothing but success, and you two were the dynamic duo. I mean, to see that videotape that we saw on BostonWrestling.com, where Kage was on the phone with Cena, basically saying you weren't needed, not wanted, and had no purpose, so to speak, down in the South. I mean, you must have taken that as a slap in the face.
Well, I'm from the deep South. I don't call that the South. You can't go any further than where I'm from. I live right on the Gulf of Mexico. You can't go any further south than that unless you want to go down into Florida into the Keys. But I've been in this industry almost 40 years, right at 40 years. You can add the experience of John Sr. and the stinking commissioner and that whoopie-de-doo Indian and add all their ears together, and they still don't have 40 years combined like I have. I've seen it all. I've done it all. I've managed world champions at the very top of the industry numerous times. You're not going to pull the wool over my eyes. And the way you treated the Indian, I let it go for a while. You'd buy him the cheapest tickets you could get. You'd put him in the cheapest hotel. Poor thing, he had to eat bologna sandwiches, and sometimes he didn't even have bread to put them on. And that was because of you, because you're a cheap.
I don't know how all of this falls back into my lap.
And Iron Sheik warned me about you a long time ago.
If you're going to listen to that buffoon.
Iron Sheik warned me about you a long time ago, so I said, well, I'll give him a chance. But I have to say you have improved. And the product from the Big Birthday Bash shows that you have improved. A line around the building, the top-notch talent that was there, the matches that we had, the auctions, you can't touch it. Some of the best professional wrestling in the area, without a doubt.
Well, in my role that you gave me, EVP of Wrestling Operations, I can only learn from the best. You have to give yourself some credit on everything you did to try and hype the big event as well.
Well, you don't watch out. The only roll I'm going to give you is going to be a roll of toilet paper.
Oh. All right, so we have Dylan Kage now. You two, big time. But you weren't just managing him. There was a trifecta of terror. You haven't said all that much about what the future of the MWF Tag Team Champions are. The execution of Brian.
We have a whole roster
yes.
of top-notch talent in the MWF. And I can pick and choose who I want to manage. I can find I can see things in wrestlers that some people can't see. Take a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it's like making a cake or like a recipe, like the chemistry, and putting them together with the best in one person, the best in the other person. You put them together, and you can make champions. And that's what I am, a manager of champions.
That is a very good point, because you have to remember, when you put the trifecta of terror together, Fuller and Malonis were mortal enemies at that point, getting ready to actually have a match, and you and Dylan came out and somehow mentally seduced them into joining this faction, and 2 months later they became the MWF Tag Team Champions. You're correct.
Who put you together, Dr. Frankenstein?
But the question remains now is, you passed in your manager's license.
Don't change the subject.
When you became the president of the MWF North, you had to hand in your manager's license effective June the 30th. What is the future of Fuller and Malonis in the MWF now? Because I'm sure, I'll give you credit where credit is due. You've done a phenomenal job as president. You have provided a lot of insight to a lot of the athletes here in the MWF, a lot of the staff. Even the MWF Board of Directors can learn a lot from you. I mean, your resume speaks for itself.
I signed my managers over last night for one night to Quincy.
Oh, please.
And he was out in the ring with Al Snow.
Well,
Al Snow is one of the top wrestlers in our industry today. And Quincy was out there leading. The people were on their feet. You almost had to cover your ears. They were so loud. What are you laughing about?
It was an MWF
I'm tired of
moment.
people making fun of Quincy. He's been a part of the organization for many, many years, and he don't receive, the accolades that he should. You've done a great job, Quincy. You've done a great job, Al Snow. We didn't have no doubt in you at all. Everybody did a great job last night. And I give props to each and every one of you, except you.
Oh, it was a birthday bash indeed, but do you have no thoughts that you want to share with us on the Fuller and Maloney subject right now? Is it TBA or? They weren't at the arena at the Big Bang birthday bash, mind you. So I also found that to be very, very interesting that the tag team champions were not at the Big Bang birthday bash the same night you severed ties with Dylan Kage once superstar of sin Scott Reed provided you with that tape of that telephone call.
You didn't see them, did you?
All
So
right.
I won't say no more. You didn't see them. But because you didn't see them doesn't mean that they weren't there. That Melrose building is a big, old, history-filled building, and there's a lot of nooks and crannies there. You didn't see them. They might have been there. You never know. You just never know about Percival Pringle III. I don't give away my secrets.
Interesting enough. I know your friend Road Dogg, a former MWF Tag Team Champion, actually feels that building is haunted.
I feel haunted right here, just sitting next to you, with that bone hanging around your neck. It looks like some kind of.
It's made out of wood.
Out in New Orleans, giving out.
It's made out of wood.
I don't care what it's made out of. It's kind of freaky.
Anyway, another white-hot match on MWF Cyberstars this month. The match that you were just speaking about, the MWF Television Championship match, that being the longest reigning MWF TV champion in company history. Straight Edge Brian Fury was certainly taking over a new lease on life, taking on the veteran Al Snow, who, as you mentioned, is accompanied by not his manager, but his mascot of sorts, Quincy.
Yes, we've already talked about that.
But what a wild, you go back to the July MWF Cyberstars, before the program even began. I'm sure we're going to have footage rolling over us as we speak. Before the show even began, Snow and Fury just came out of one of the side entrances of the building and were brawling through the crowd, not even in the barricades, through the crowd, throwing each other into stairs and trash barrels and things like that. I mean, someone could have got killed.
I don't know about killed, but somebody certainly could have got injured, and I'm sure when they woke up the next morning, they were kind of sore, needed some icy hot rubbed in some sensitive places, because they beat the heck out of each other, without a doubt. And that's what we like. It's called professional wrestling. What is wrestling? It's 2 contestants, 3 contestants, 4 contestants, 5 contestants, all getting in, being physical, trying to have their hand raised in victory. That's what it is. And have a belt, the gold, put in that hand so they can raise it up. That's what it's all about. And that's what we're going to give you fans, as fans of the NWF. Boston Wrestling. People's hearing about Boston Wrestling all around the country. I travel all around the country. I just don't come here. I'm still under contract with the WWE as a legend, more or less. They like to call me a legend. I don't consider myself a legend.
You are a legend.
Well, I don't consider myself a legend, but I enjoy traveling around the world, around the country, to independent organizations like yours. And unfortunately, I have to say, you have one of the best ones with your television program, with your internet programs that you do. But there's a lot of other ones around the country that have some top talent too. And you never know. Maybe we can bring in some of these guys, or bring some of your guys out to where they're at, out to California, to Los Angeles. There's so much that we can do that has never been done before. And I have a reputation of doing things that have never been done before.
Do you have your eye on any talent that you would like to share with us right now?
I'm not going to tell you nothing.
Every time.
Every time. I can't trust you.
It's my job.
I can't trust you.
It's my job.
Don't holler at me.
It's my job.
You don't have to holler. You have a microphone around your neck. The sound man can adjust your voice. You don't have to scream. It's not my fault that you didn't eat breakfast this morning.
Well, that's a different story for a different time. But back to the match at hand. You talk about, it's almost like a generations clash right there, because Al Snow's business with the uprising isn't done. I mean, John Layfield is a busy man. He's off climbing mountains all over the world to try and help the
Yeah,
kids down in
I
Bermuda.
hear when he finishes climbing all the mountains of the world, he's going to climb Big Show.
Well,
And I hope he's not sweaty. He'll slide right down the other side.
he didn't mention that, even though they headlined the No Way Out 2005 pay-per-view from WWE. That's a different story for a different time. But, you know, JBL is a
He
bit...
could climb the Commish. He could climb the Jackal. He could climb.
I'd actually like to see
There's several
JBL
other
climb
people
the Jackal.
backstage at MWF that he could climb. That would be a challenge. Just to climb those, just line them all up. Peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys.
That would make for
I just hope he don't fall on one of them's belly button. He'd never find his way out.
Oh my! Have you ever? Well, I'll bite my tongue. For
Okay.
Now. But back to the issue at hand. You know, Brian Fury, when we had that interview with him leading up to the event, why, out of a sudden, are you? He had no issues with Al Snow, no vendetta, no past history with the man. You know, he's smashing his face off at tables and T-shirt stands and so on and so forth. And again, what we talked about earlier. And he said he felt like he wasn't receiving the respect he had earned. He won the TV championship, to his credit, at Soul Survivor 5 back in 2008. And then Al Snow said he was just basically sitting in the back minding his own business. And Fury came up and wanted to start an issue with him because he feels that all these superstars that have signed to come to the MWF get all the attention, and an athlete such as himself is the one that's putting his body on the line in the ring. So what do you think about this almost generation gap between a veteran like Al Snow that's been in the business 25 years or so, and someone like Brian Fury, who is a hungry young athlete looking to get where Al Snow has been and continues to be in professional wrestling?
Well, young Brian Fury sat under the learning tree of Al Snow. And believe me, when he walked away from that event, not only was he sore, he walked away with some very valuable lessons from the legendary Al Snow. I promise you that. He learned a lot. And I've got a couple other matches lined up for this gentleman. Not necessarily here. Maybe he's in some other locations around the country. And he's going to pick up some more experiences and bring it back here. He's a good-looking young kid. He works out. There's no doubt about it. There's some good things coming. Good things coming. Let's just keep that Cena away from here. Cena Senior away from here. And that stinking Bon Johnson away from here. I'll even bring a box of soap powder and take his clothes to the washateria and wash them if he'd do it. I don't think them clothes he wears have been washed in months. It's filthy.
I'm better off not commenting on that one.
Okay, well, don't.
We'll talk more about what's going on with the uprising next month. As I understand, you're going to be joining us here for a little bit as you've opened up a satellite office here in the Boston area to have your own private space away from what we do here at the studio, which is good. Big match signed next month after the expose at the Big Bang Birthday Bash. Your new little, I won't say protege, I think that would be a little much because you are the president, but someone that I think is near and dear to your heart at the moment, the superstar of sin, Scott Reed, who provided you with the video, who provided me, apparently, with the videos of John Cena Sr. that came anonymously to the TV studio at one point. He'll be taking on your former boy, the stalker Dylan Kage, one-on-one, and I understand, well, you can fill in the rest. There's going to be no way to get in, no way to get out, because there's going to be an enforcer at ringside.
First of all, you used the wrong word. Dylan Kage isn't a boy. Dylan Kage is a man. He's a tough man. He's an experienced man. But you can't trust him. You can't trust him at all. So I'm giving my man some lessons. I can't wait for that match.
Will you be living vicariously through Scott Reed next month on Cyberstars?
I can live anywhere I want to live, except anywhere just away from you.
Did you trust Dylan Kage when you managed him? You're just saying he's a man that can't be trusted. You two, again, were partners in crime for 7 years.
This is professional wrestling. You can't trust anybody, anytime, anywhere. An old veteran of this sport taught me almost 40 years ago, if you want a friend in professional wrestling, buy a dog. That's a friend in professional wrestling. You can't trust anybody. Always keep an eye out, because they'll hug you, and while they're hugging you, they can be putting a knife in your back at the same time. Believe me, I've been there.
All right, wrestling fans, unbelievable. It has been a treat to have you here, President. Cyberstars is going to be
See, he's lying
great.
right now.
Reed and Dylan Cage.
He don't want me here. The only reason I'm here because I wanted to be here.
Reed and Dylan Cage, the president, will be back on the Superstar Zone next month. Wrestling fans, Soul Survivor Destined for Greatness will take place Saturday, March the 9th, 2013, from the historic Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. It is going to be one of the most exciting, action-packed, explosive nights in Millennium Wrestling Federation history, as it is every year at Soul Survivor. It is our marquee event, to say the very least. Keep in mind that VIP packages go on sale to all fans on Thanksgiving. What a Thursday it is going to be. Have the turkey. Get ready for Black Friday, but don't miss out on your chance to get front row tickets to Soul Survivor 9. Fans that were at our 11th anniversary extravaganza on September the 22nd will receive a special email on, I believe, I don't have a calendar in front of me, but it sounds like to my brain the 18th. Whatever that Sunday is before Thanksgiving, they're going to receive a special email. You'll have first crack at being able to renew your seats before any other fan can get their hands on them. It's going to make a tremendous holiday gift. We're working on some tremendous giveaways. And keep in mind, from here on out with our MWF Live events, it began at the Big Bang Birthday Bash on September 22nd. Where your seat is located depends upon when you buy them. So the sooner you buy the VIP package, the closer to the action you'll be. Just about everybody got in the front row. We did have many fans in the second row. We want to try and give fans a guaranteed reserved seat and put the number on your ticket as well so it's easier to find. Right now, we had talked about it in our discussions with President Bear. We're going to take a look back at the video that the superstar of sin, Scott Reed, presented to Mr. Bear, which exposed both the stalker Dylan Cage and that worthless scumbag sleaze John Cena Sr. as they wanted Paul Bearer out of the Carolinas.
No, Steen, I completely understand where you're coming from. I mean, if we have to get rid of him, we have to. It's just business. He can understand that. Yeah. Family's family, but business is always going to be business, baby. It's God's country. What else could it be? I told you for years. Unbelievable. Okay. Well, like I said, if that's what we got to do, it's not what I personally want to do, but if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. If he's got to go, he's got to go. Yeah. No, I like what you think. Yeah. 100%. I'm with you. All the way. Can't be beat. Okay. I'll see you down there. Perfect.
As usual, Scum speaks for itself, wrestling fans. We're running out of time again. Don't miss the October MWF Cyberstars piping hot. It has the showdown with Paul Bearer, Scott Reed, stalker Dylan Cage, as well as the MWF TV title defense between Straight Edge Brian Fury and Al Snow. It is one you do not want to miss. The action is heating up here in the MWF. It's going to be a hot fall. We have a special holiday online extravaganza coming. Still working on the date because we have a special idea in mind, which we don't want to give away right yet. But probably either Thanksgiving weekend Sunday or the first Sunday in December. We're going to have something really cool, really interactive, really different from anything we've done in the past. We always try to be different here in the MWF to give you the best experience possible. If you are with us at September 22nd's anniversary event, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts, fans. Without you, there is no Millennium Wrestling Federation.
sincerely. Believe me. And we want you